Um, it was a weird game because it was really rainy. It was really rainy in a lot of the Northeast. That's probably what made the Philly Montreal game a little bit weird too.
Hmm.
Um, but they did seem a little bit more cohesive. The back line seemed a little bit better, except for Christian. Christian is still, I don't know. Both of the goals were on him. He let I think it was Amarikwa just go through his legs. It was either him. No, it wasn't. It was Nyarko. Nyarko, who's like, he's been a joke in MLS for 2 years now, and he went through the legs of Christian, who's supposed to come from La Liga, but whatever. Um, and then rockets in, a cross that gets headed in, and Hamid can't do anything about that. Boswell can't do anything about that. That's all on Nyarko beating Christian, and that was bad. And then he got beat on the corner kick header for the first goal, which wasn't as bad. Corner kick headers, you can a little bit be like, I guess you're fine. You were there. These things happen. So I'm happy with the back line except for the right back, or the left back, sorry. And Kitchen played great. He scored. He could have scored another. That's not what he does. His job is to do exactly what he did, and that was to break up Chicago's attack. When they weren't getting past Christian, I don't think they were building anything through the middle. And Eddie Johnston and Espindola were showing some chemistry. That's going to be huge. If they can build a little bit more, there was a great flick on from Eddie Johnston at Spindola that almost led to a goal. If they can do that more, that's going to be really big for MLS.
Well,
For
Eddie
DC.
Johnson is making more money now, so he should be better at soccer, right? That's what
You'd hope.
said last year he was going to be.
Yeah. I'm sad we don't have either Josh or Pete here to laugh even more heartily.
I did that in Columbus, by the way, so I get to take it to heart, too. That's where
Maybe I thought that was in Seattle.
No, his famous celebration was in Columbus there. He was,
Okay.
Make it rain.
Okay. Is that before or after he scored the goal against Mexico?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was like,
It was a couple days before.
okay,
Yeah, that game was the weekend before the U.S.-Mexico game.
okay, that's pretty funny actually. And then he scored against Mexico, and then he's like, but then he didn't do the make it rain sign then because he doesn't care how much U.S. soccer pays him.
All right.
So yeah, that's my DC thoughts.
Okay. Now, I know that, Dennis, you pretty much watched all of Canadian soccer over the weekend.
Of course, yes, sir.
What's going on? Vancouver still looking fly up there?
Yeah, they're looking all right. I have a little concern over what Maddox has been doing. It seemed like at the beginning of the season he was a lot more open to giving out assists and passing the ball when he might have had a goal scoring opportunity. He's traditionally been known last years to be very selfish at attempts on that. And when he has a partner out there open, whether it's a midfielder or another forward, he will typically tend to shoot. And what was refreshing at the beginning of this year is it seemed like we had a different Darren Maddox where he wasn't. He was actually passing. I think the first goal Vancouver had this year was from an assist from Darren Maddox. So that opened up my eyes. But watching that match against Houston on Saturday, yeah, it seems like he's back into his old habits. He's just pulling back and shooting whenever he wants to. And I think it's going to hurt Vancouver over the long term. Now, granted, they did win that match, but I don't think Maddox had a great contribution towards, helping set up too much. In comparison to other weeks, he definitely did help out, and I mean, he did have a couple assists, right, as they say. But it'll be interesting. I mean, it hinges. I really do think it hinges on Maddox, just because he's been such a key piece role. He's been there for many weeks, and you have people coming in and out, right? So now with the addition of Kenny Miller, if him and Kenny Miller can link up, they'll have a good season. But if Maddox becomes stubborn and continues to pull shots when he can pass them off and give one of his teammates a better chance, then I don't think we're going to have a good year for Vancouver here.
So they've played 4 games, 2 at home, 2 away.
Mm-hmm.
They drew away to Chivas and away to somebody else. This is gonna embarrass me. Whatever. They drew away to somebody else. Are they the West Houston? Because they look really fantastic at home. Like that atmosphere
Right, and it's awesome. It's absolutely fantastic, and I agree with you. They're very much like the West Houston. That's a really good. I never really thought of it that way, but now that you're mentioning it, I mean that's a really good way to put it. Because when they're playing at home, they're playing well, but when they go to travel, it seems like things are falling apart as well. So
Yeah, I mean, because you've got because it's weird because they beat New York and they beat Houston at home, and then they go on the road and get Chivas down to 10 men, and can't beat 10 men Chivas in front of 5,000 Los Angeles or whatever.
right, and
So
it's. I mean, again, it's early in the season, right? We're only about 5 weeks in,
yeah,
so I mean, it's going to be hard to say. We'll have a better idea of what's going on, I think, in another 4 or 5 weeks, and then we
right.
start really calling the shots. But I mean, just early on, I think they got to get Maddox under control. He can't be squandering those chances. It's going to cost them later on in the season. Whether it's 3 points lost, or 2 points lost, or just a tie loss down to a loss. And it'll be interesting though. But keep an eye on Aaron Maddox is my. I think he's going to be a big key piece in Vancouver's destination this year.
Right.
Now, I didn't get to watch most games this weekend. Like I was telling you guys, I was pretty busy. So, just everybody on the podcast know that I got nothing in my head right now. I'm just asking questions for fun. I'm looking at the scoreline for Salt Lake and Toronto.
Oh, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good question. Well, a lot of random things happened. Some people went away to injury. Defoe got subbed off due to it's not injury, but he got apparently hamstring sprain. So that doesn't help. And I mean, they're a great team, right? That's not an easy away game to play out of the conference, especially with the distance. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I knew this was going to happen at some point in the season. I didn't know that it was going to be 3-0. That was kind of shocking, but it honestly looked like after the first 60, 70 minutes, they just kind of gave up. And it's scary because I don't want to see Toronto fall into old habits, but at the same time, you don't got the same people you have there last year, right? A lot has changed, a lot.
As a Columbus fan, I can't tell you how much I would love to see old habit.
And you know what, Chris? I'll be surprised if we see, or if you see Defoe on the field on Saturday. I don't think he's going to make it out there. So
Hey,
I
that's
mean,
the reason I'm leaving work early. All right.
but I mean, you look at it on the yellow cards. They're pushing on, and it was a sloppy game. It was just a sloppy, rough game. They fell into the physicality of MLS rather than playing with, a nice 1, 2, 3, 4 string passes. They're just trying to use their bodies to get in the way of the ball, and that's not going to work anymore. So
Now, unless they're playing DC in the Open Cup, I feel like RSL is singularly positioned to stop direct teams like Toronto and pass around them. I mean, we talked. I'm gonna keep bringing this up for like several months. We talked to Steve Finn, who talked about how important those through ball passes that RSL does to get fantastic shots on goal, and with Toronto's weak back line,
it's just a combination for disaster, right?
yeah.
For RSL, I'm sure they're happy as hell, right? But on my side of things, yeah, it's a disaster. And you look at the back four, and there's been big questions about the back four. But I mean, you look at Caldwell and Henry in the center back positions for TFC, and you got to remember, Henry's not even 21 years old. He's still 20 years old, and for the level he's playing at that age, it's worthwhile keeping him in because he's going to get really good really fast. And I think he's going to be one of the best MLS defenders in a couple of years. I mean, 3-4 years, you see him develop. He's going to be one of the top men. One of the people who are getting not a lot of praise is Bradley.
This Freddie a dude Henry.
Sorry?
This Freddie a dude Henry.
The Neil Henry?
No, he's
you build him up too much when he's young, and then he decides.
Oh, sorry. Right over my head, boys. Right over my head. Yeah.
Henry isn't 14 years old, though, right? He's like 20.
Right. So.
He's a grown-ass man, is what you're trying to tell me.
Freddie Dew was 14 when he made the start for DC United. That was stupid.
That's crazy.
That was straight up stupid.
But yeah, so hopefully with a couple of years and some better training from players like, I know Defoe was a forward, but Bradley, for example, there are people who've been around soccer internationally for a long time, and when you're young and you're impressionable like that at 20 years old, I think it helps quite a bit to have somebody who can kind of take you under their wing and give you some experience to say, hey, look, this is the avenue you're going to be going down, this is what you're going to face, I've already been there, let me help you out kind of thing, right? So I think that'll help, and over time that's going to improve. But I think Bradley is really understated in his contribution to TFC by many Toronto fans, I'd say. I know you Americans love your Bradley, and I understand why. I get it. But I don't think the same sentiment is shared for a lot of TFC fans. I know a lot of people are half-half with him, saying for that money he's not performing as well, but
Well,
I
what does
don't
he have?
know.
He says he's not a goal scorer though.
That's what he's a playmaker, right? And that's what he's paid to do. And for some reason, people don't see that. They look at the numbers on the paper. But again, this is not coming from Toronto FC support. This is just coming from now to the point where I can have conversations about the team with, a receptionist, with somebody on the boss. It doesn't matter. A year ago, no one wanted to have TFC conversations in Toronto. Now everyone's excited. Now everybody wants to talk.
Everyone on the bus.
Everybody. See the guy on the bus. Hey, what's going on? You like TFC? Let's have a chat. Like that. That's how it works. And so with Bradley, what I've been hearing a lot is people don't. I think that soccer IQ has been lowered in Toronto because of all the signings and everything, and all the excitement. Is a lot of new people are coming into the sport, and they don't understand necessarily, the difference a good pass and a bad pass can make in a game. So
Yeah,
I think in a couple weeks that'll sort out. But even if you look at MLS as a whole, we have a lot of new fans, and the number one thing I think to try to do is to not be snobby and to inform them, just have a conversation about it straight up, and not be, oh well, I've been watching the league for 5 years and you're just starting, so what do you know? You got to embrace the new fans as well. They might be bandwagoners, but I don't know how it happened, but I guess I needed to vent about TFC, and I haven't been able to since Saturday, so you guys are my victims. Thank you.
I have a funny story about being snobby about MLS, but I'll tell that later. So I have a conspiracy theory for you, Dennis. So I read that Henry wants to be the guy for Canada. So are Canadian fans worried that Bradley will take him under his wing and sabotage him because he's American?
No, that's not gonna happen. I think again, I don't know what other people's attitude is, but my attitude is we're in this together, right? Like, I want to see you guys do well in the World Cup. I don't have any interest in it. No, I want it to work. Let us have Bradley.
We need defenders.
So kind of you.
We need defenders, Dennis.
Thank you for Bradley. We're taking up Canadian men's national team as ours. Thanks. He's not coming back across the border. That's for damn sure.
Wait a minute.
I got him locked up in a jail cell right now by the lake, so don't worry about that. Underground BMO Field. You got a little prison.
I feel like that would turn his football manager morale from good to okay. I don't think that's what
we just leave soccer balls for him and some pig dummies, and just
runs
around. He's good. He's okay. Feed him, bucket of fish heads every week, and good to go.
Okay.
I feel like I'm trashing like a national hero of you guys, which is terrible.
Yeah, we're gonna. Don't ever come to America again.
Okay, you guys can have Henry.
I actually did lock him in a basement, in which legitimate concern now.
Now that the secret's out,
a made-up thing until now.
I'll just give you guys Henry, and you guys will just never talk about this.
We record this on like Google Hangouts, which NSA can.
It's straight on YouTube, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then let's mention bomb, pressure cooker, backpack.
No.
There we go.
Ian, did you think that when you started talking about conspiracy theories, it was going to turn into real ones?
Maybe.
All right.
All right, let's move on from this silliness
to the most important game of the week.
Colorado,
Kansas City?
Pete couldn't make it for Seattle Columbus. I was going to just sit here and rub it in the whole time, but he's not here. So.
And there's not going to be another one either. This is the only one.
He sent this email along that said, you can just say something about me being a sore loser and whining about the terrible officiating. The Sounders are still on the top of the punk rock Pete power rankings, which is the Apr2p2. He also wanted to mention that Portland is in 30th place behind Sac Republic FC and Wichita State.
Even after their loss to Kentucky? I don't know about that.
So that's the Apr2p2. So I guess I can't have this argument that I had planned with him anymore. So maybe if I just be both sides of it.
I can be the Seattle side.
I'm like, hey, I'm Pete. Okay, you go ahead and be the Seattle side. Let's do this thing. Let's have it out right now.
Yeah, because if I'm the Seattle side, maybe Pete will finally send me that Sounders scarf that he's been planning to. Right, Pete?
Pipe
Yeah.
dream. Just a pipe dream.
Yes.
So I will say that I was kind of disappointed in the Seattle fans, and I know that it was like a kind of a sudden loss there at the end. But in the match thread, things got pretty weird at the end of that match.
Oh, yeah?
There was a lot of hate going down in there, and we don't usually see that on the subreddit.
Yeah, we're all happy, friendly to each other.
Yeah, there were people really going at it. It was kind of weird.
I guess it happens sometimes. I mean, I'm used to seeing that on RNFL, like when, I don't know, there was a really ugly game between the Panthers and Rams, but never on RMLS.
So I didn't see this.
At some point, like I know that they have the most flair on the subreddit, right? So they have a wider pool of people that are contributing. So I mean, I'm sure every team has a couple of bad eggs, and when you have that many fans there, that might be the case. But yeah, I was kind of a little disappointed.
What was going on?
It just got really negative, and a lot of people, like the one I remember the most is there was someone who had this like kind of rant about like trying to call Justin Miram out on celebrating his game-winning goal.
Oh, come on, guys.
Super negative tone. And then there were a couple other ones that were just like,
that's just
like I think they got downvoted pretty quickly, and it was just really just
childish, you know what I mean?
In various ways.
Like, we're all happy to have a good rivalry, but at the same time, you gotta tone it the fuck down. You can't be going on and on and on and on and on and just pure hate, you know what I mean? Again, who wants to be around that?
It was all like in the heat of the moment. So
right.
Yeah, and if they got downvoted, then RMLS did his job. So
it's a shame, you know. It's a shame that people have to
get downvoted.
Yeah, I don't know what it does for anybody but the person posting and the comment, you know.
With that having been said, it was another fun to watch match, which I've gotten out a lot of the Columbus matches this time around, but it was really especially fun because Seattle and Columbus both play such an open game.
Right.
But it was just just whoever had the ball looked the best at it.
Is Higuain your hero now?
Higuain's been my hero since game 1.
I knew it.
I think he came in and got like an assist or two game 1, and ever since. And we're seeing him playing even further forward now, and it's just like he actually, I think, in the past few weeks has given up more bad passes than I've ever seen him give up, but he's still getting the job done. So even, we saw him turn over the ball a lot, but I think it was actually the Philadelphia match we saw him turn the ball over a lot more than he usually would. But yeah, he's been a rock for us ever since he arrived on the field.
So can we go ahead and etch y'all's name on MLS Cup if you guys beat Toronto this week?
No, but we can definitely. I think if we beat Toronto this week, then I'm going to feel confident saying, we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh no, that puts so much pressure on us.
That's all I'm saying, guys.